Nvidia, and yes, I said it right this time, is about to become the world's most valuable company. Earlier this week, Nvidia surpassed Apple in becoming the world's most valuable company, but at the recording of this video, it went back down to number 3. But without a doubt, Nvidia is about to become the world's most valuable company. At this point, this thing is you can't stop this train, man. You cannot stop this train. Competitors are not even there. It's kind of like a Tesla in 2020 moment, 2021 moment. It's just there's nothing that can stop this company, at least for the next few years. So now that we know that Nvidia is going to become the world's most valuable company, for how long can they hold this crown for? Right? In this video, I went into a deep dive with the other 5 big companies, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, because Nvidia has to beat Microsoft in order to become the world's most valuable company. Realistically, I mean, the market cap is only 200 more billion left to go until they can beat Microsoft, and they're going to do it within, if it's not next week, it's then the week after that. They're just on a roll right now. So I went on a deep analysis going through Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple, and of course, can't forget about Tesla, because we know that at one point, I mean, you'll see what I mean by this, by end of this video, when will Tesla become the world's most valuable company, because they're going to become the world's most valuable company sooner or later as well. But when? That question, when I did the deep analysis on all of them, it was actually pretty interesting how Tesla will become the world's most valuable company. It's gonna be crazy. So let's get down to it. Smash that like button and hit subscribe if you guys haven't already. Let's go. So to keep things simple, I just have the profits here of the end year of that year and the market cap. Now, the market cap obviously could be controversy. They could say that it should be less, it should be more. What I did here is the most possible outcome, the most realistic outcome for each company. And quite frankly, going through the market cap makes more sense, because that's how we know and how we can compare how one company is more valuable than the other. And obviously the one that has the most is the world's most valuable company. So let's start off with 2024. So Microsoft is projected to do $93 billion in profits. Nvidia is about to do $64 billion in profits. Apple over $100 billion in profits. Amazon $49 billion. Google $94 billion. And Tesla $7.5 billion, which is, when you look at everybody else and you look at Tesla, it's, it's a little bit like, bro, Tesla, what are you doing, man? But we all know what's going on with Tesla. Putting the market cap here for Microsoft, we got over 3.2 trillion. Nvidia, we have over 3.8 trillion. That's insane. That's literally close to another trillion to be on top of what it is now, to be added on to what it is now, which is just absolutely insane. Apple over 3.1 trillion, Amazon just below 3 trillion, and Google just below 2.9 trillion, Tesla just below $700 billion. Now here's the thing, my Tesla stock price, or my price target for 2024 end of this year, is about $350 bucks per share, which could be over 1 trillion, 1.1 trillion. But that's me being very optimistic, and I'm giving that, a 10% chance of that happening. So being around 700 billion, or finishing the stock this year around the mid 250s, 260s, I think that's the most plausible outcome this year. Unless, robotaxi event gets, is much better than everyone expected. Elon compensation package. I mean, just so many things need to come together. Interest rates, right? All these things, if they all come together, then I can easily see Tesla, becoming the next $1 trillion company. But for now, I have here for 2024 just below $700 billion, which is more than now. Right now it's $550 billion. So I'm giving it another $150 billion, a bit less than that, as a valuation from now to end of the year, which I think, makes sense. But with no doubt, Nvidia does become the world's most valuable company here. As you guys can see, it's more valuable than everybody else. So I'm going to put this in green. Now, here's the thing, guys. I'm always picking these stocks, right? Another stock can just come out of nowhere and surprise all of us, right? We have Eli Lilly that can do that. We have maybe Palantir one day can do that. Maybe even Meta. I haven't even put Meta here. So it could be any other company, but I think these companies, because they're doing so much investment in AI, so much investment in tech and software, I think these companies would be a good candidates to compare to see what the next world's most valuable company would be. Moving on to 2025 now. You guys can see the profits. The profits for Microsoft is not growing that much, maybe 10% at most. Nvidia growing another 20 billion on top, which is just It's crazy. Apple about, again, 10% growth. Amazon doing a big leap, around 15 billion in growth. Google doing again 10% as well. Tesla growing almost 100%, like 80%. And I do expect this for 2025, at least around 12 billion. Adding in the market cap, Microsoft over 3.5 trillion. Nvidia over 4.5 trillion, which is insane. Apple over 3.3 trillion. Amazon over 3.4 trillion. Google over 3.1 trillion. And Tesla just below 900 billion in market cap. Now, obviously, Nvidia is still the world's most valued company, so that's going to be in green. But look at Amazon. Amazon took notably the biggest growth when it comes to the market cap, from 2.9 trillion to 3.4 trillion, which is quite interesting. In 2026, we see Microsoft profits accelerating faster, which is interesting to see. Nvidia almost reaching $100 billion in profits, which is just crazy. This company went from $6 billion in profits in 2022 or 2021 or 2023, all the way to $100 billion within 3 years, 4 years. Mind-blowing. And that's why we see the rapid growth of Nvidia in the stock price. It's just mind-blowing. And something that I do expect to see with Tesla, and you guys will see in a bit as well. Apple growing maybe 5% to 118 billion. And here's the thing with Apple, man. They're not innovating. And that's the problem with Apple. They're not innovating. They're just doing the same thing year over year over year. I just don't see them growing or, having a spike in the stock anytime soon, unless there's some surprises that we don't know about. I'll talk more about that at the end of the video. Amazon again, $20 billion in growth for 2026. And that's insane growth. And yes, all these are deep analysis, and a lot of analysts have put this in as well. But I went and I looked more depth in it. I can make a separate video showing you guys how I came up with these numbers. But it's realistic to see Amazon gaining $20 billion in net income or profits by 2026, from 62 billion to 82 billion, actually more than 20 billion in profits. Insane growth. Google about 10% growth here. Tesla here, again, another 70% to 80% growth, which is a sheesh flipping moment. Putting in the market cap here, Microsoft over 3.2 trillion, Nvidia almost 5 trillion, Apple over 3.5 trillion, Amazon 4.1 trillion. Whoa, look at that. It's catching up to Nvidia. Google over 3.5 trillion, and Tesla almost at 1.4 trillion. All right, Nvidia is the world's most valued company, but notable growth here is Tesla and Amazon, but mainly Amazon. That's gonna be insane. Moving on to 2027, you guys can see the profits. Microsoft slapped on 20 billion in profits here in 2027. Their AI is paying off around that time, which I do expect. Nvidia again continues with their closely 20 billion profits every single year added on, which is flippin' insane. Apple, Amazon adding over $30 billion in profits in 2027, which is absolutely flippin' insane. And the thing with Amazon is that right now, they're the highest revenue company. Like, if you look at their revenue right now, it's over $600 billion. And by 2027, it's projected to be at or over $700 billion. And the reason why they're not profiting as much is because they keep reinvesting the money back in the company. If they just relax 1%, that's tens of billions of dollars that goes right to profits. It's insane. Amazon is, people are second guessing this company, but they shouldn't. And you guys are going to see how this company is going to do wonderfully in the future. Google about 5-6% increase. Tesla slapping on $9 billion to $29 billion in profits. Now, the thing with Tesla, guys, I'm adding everything in it except for the bots. That's it. And I'm keeping a lot of things conservative as well when it comes to Tesla. So I think that's important to note. Adding the market cap here. Look at that. Look at Microsoft going from 3.7 trillion to 4.3 trillion. We have Nvidia 5.3 trillion over that actually. Apple a little bit, only 3.7 trillion, a bit more than that. Nothing like the other big boys that's going on here. Amazon slapping on $1 trillion in valuation of almost 5.2 trillion, which is absolutely nuts. Google over 4 trillion, and Tesla almost reaching 1.9 trillion in valuation. Now, obviously, Nvidia is still the world's most valued company here. So 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027, Nvidia is the world's most valuable company. But notable growth, look at Amazon. It's catching up. Let's see what's going to happen in 2028. And smash that like button. And again, Microsoft slapping on another $20 billion in profits, which is just insane. Nvidia slapping on close to $25 billion in profits in 2028, which is insane. Apple, But look at Amazon. Holy, from 115 billion to 156 billion. And the crazy part is, guys, I believe this with Amazon. That's what, a 40 billion increase? That's just insane. Google from 135 billion to 154 billion. But look at Tesla, from 29 billion to over 42 billion. The growth is there with Tesla, guys. It's growing. Adding in the market cap. Microsoft almost reaching 5 trillion. Nvidia over 5.7 trillion. Apple almost reaching 4 trillion. Amazon over 6.2 trillion, beating Nvidia? Whoa, okay, that's getting spicy. Google 4.6 trillion. Tesla 2.5 trillion. Amazon is now going to be the world's most valued company from 2028. That's crazy. So Amazon is looking like to dethrone Nvidia in 2028. So it's not even Tesla. So that's crazy. Sheesh. Some notable growth here is Google, 600 billion slapped on, and as well as Tesla as well. Moving on to 2029, you guys can see the profits here. Most notably here is Nvidia, slapping on about $30 billion. Amazon, like $45 billion slapped on, and Tesla slapping on almost another 20 billion in profits. Here are the market caps. For Microsoft, we do see about 5.6 trillion, Nvidia 6 trillion, Apple 4.2 trillion. So it's not really Apple. Amazon over 7 trillion, Google over 5.2 trillion, Tesla almost reaching 3.5 trillion. Now, moving on to 2030, because 2030 is going to be a sheesh moment. It's going to be crazy. So smash that like button. Profits, Microsoft is killing it. Nvidia almost reaching $200 billion in profits. Apple, Amazon slapping on another $50 billion in profits, which is insane. Google reaching $200 billion, but look at Tesla. From 63 billion to almost 100 billion in profits. That is crazy growth. And it has to do with the robotaxis and the other FSD margins, because I do see it at that time picking up at a mass scale. I have someone coming on this channel soon. I don't want to spoil it, but he's going to give us a very deep insight in the bots and robotaxi. And it's the best analysis I've seen. He just needs to explain to me and us how this is going to impact the stock price and the financials and the fundamentals of Tesla. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a sheesh moment. But adding in the market cap here for 2030, we see Microsoft being worth over $6.4 trillion, Nvidia reaching 7 trillion. So adding a trillion in valuation, which is insane. Apple here, about 4.5 trillion. Amazon here, 7.5 or 7.6 trillion. Google, 6 trillion. Tesla, 6.4 trillion. First things first, world's most valued company in 2030. It looks like Amazon's still taking the cake. But most notable growth here is Tesla. From 3.5 trillion valuation to 6.4, or just say 6.5. That is a 3 trillion valuation added onto the stock. Elon did say that once we have the robotaxis and FSD, and when these guys come alive, it's going to be the biggest asset growth overnight in history. And 3 trillion in a single year added onto a stock, that has never happened before. That's all I'm going to say. And I think that's what he means. That is crazy. That is insane. And I do reckon that 2031, they're probably going to do around 130 billion, 140 billion. And with massive growth, I think the stock could reach over 7-8 trillion. Here's the graph, how it looks like from now to 2030. And you guys can see the hockey stick with Tesla. It's just, it's the outlier. And then all of a sudden, in 2029 to 2030, it's like, hey man, I'm coming. I'm number one. I'm going to be number one. I'm the Phoenix that everybody thought I was down. And it's going to go on becoming the world's most valued company. It's safe to say that by early 2030s, it's going to become the world's most valued company. Now, you guys can see that Apple is just, drifting away, wave after wave, right? You guys can see it is slowly going, but that's because there's no innovation. And I'm going based on this analysis that, Apple is not going to do much of innovation. The recent thing that they did was Apple Vision, the goggles. That kind of flopped, right? I don't know what else they're going to do. They just wasted $10 billion on making the EV. Now they're focusing on the software part. I don't know. Tim Cook is a great executor, but he's not a good innovator. And the reason why we see all these stocks going up the way they are is because of innovation and reinvestment back in the company. Apple, in this case, they're doing buybacks, and they're doing dividends. Now here's the thing, guys, the market cap may be low for Apple, but they are doing buybacks, so the stock price is going to rise regardless. But in terms of valuation, yeah, it's not doing really the greatest. So there you guys have it. It looks like Nvidia is going to be the world's most valued company for some time until Amazon takes over, and until after that Tesla takes over that. So that is a sheesh moment. And again, obviously guys, it's not financial advice, it's just based on my analysis, so take everything with a grain of salt. Anything could happen, and who knows, maybe Tesla brings in the bots much earlier than we all thought, and we get a much more sooner rise, and maybe instead of 2030 it'll happen 2028, 2027, all depending on the bot. Again, I'm not including the bot in my analysis whatsoever. I can't understand it. I just can't comprehend it. I just don't, so I go based on what I know. But here's the thing, guys. Tesla is going to have an Nvidia moment regarding the stock price and the fundamentals, all that kind of stuff. When people wake up, when they finally wake up from their sleep and go like, oh my God, I was sleeping on this. I can't believe it, with Tesla. So I made a video about it right here. You guys can check it out. You all won't be disappointed, guys. Get your About the Dip t-shirt or your she short. That's a way of supporting me, or becoming a channel member that supports me as well. Subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.